Hey guys, TikTak here and welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while. Sorry, I apologize. Things happen in life and sometimes you cannot control them. But we're still streaming every day live on Twitch, so if you want to stop by, twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. And with that said, I'm going to bring you today the top 5 assault rifles in the game currently. I wanted to wait till the bundle buster was released and I'm not disappointed with it. It's pretty good. But we have that list coming up for you right now. There's a few criteria that we're going by, as when I first started this list, I thought there were a lot more assault rifles in the game, but the bundle bus makes 26. So I was going to give you a top 3 of each category, but instead we're just going to do the 1 or 2 best ones in each category. I broke it down into 5 different categories, and each one is a little bit of a different play style and mechanic among the assault rifles. You'll see when we get into it. And without further ado, here are the categories, and we're going to start at the bottom. It's hard to determine a clear winner in a category like this because every gun works. Use what you like. If you have it, use it. They are all pretty good, but there are some ones that beat it. In these tests, I'm using Rio and Urban Assault Headhunter for every single one. The first category is going to be LMGs. This is your drum rolls, your Mercury, everything that you just hold the button down, spray and pray weapons. Next up, we have SMGs, up close and personal, what probably is your best bang for your buck from DPS terms. Burst rifles are next, and these are your 3-shot, 4-shot, 8-shot weapons that just came out. The range, and what I mean by that are the weapons basically for mist monsters, the things that have high headshot damage and can kill things from far away. And last up, we have semi-auto, which in my opinion is probably the best assault rifles in the game, and I'll tell you why later in the video, but let's first get into LMGs. I first was going to give the #1 spot to the Mercury LMG. Amazing gun, cool mechanic, nice passive, does a lot of damage. Throw fire rate on it and it's fantastic. However, right before I started making this list, somebody came into my stream and said, "Hey Tick, you gotta try this." What he dropped me off was a drum roll. The gun that you get from the beginning of the game if you got the right package. He dropped it off, I picked it up, I used it, and it literally blew my mind. It was amazing. The damage that comes out of this gun is unheard of. I was gonna put the hacksaw on this list, but this clearly outclasses it. I will show you guys, and you guys can just see in the footage of how insane this weapon is. With 3 quote-unquote utility perks, magazine size, stability, energy, damage, and fire rate, this gun destroys things. Just watch. Not only does it decimate everything it comes across, it sounds amazing, and on top of that, it's probably one of the, if not the coolest looking weapon, at least assault rifle, in the game with its laser sight. It's a really good weapon. Check it out, build it like you saw in the video with 3 utility perks, and I promise you will not be disappointed. The only negative thing about this gun, it chews through ammo, but it doesn't use energy cells, so it makes it a little bit better. The drum roll is your #1 LMG. When talking about SMGs, there's really only 3. The Bobcat, the Silent Spectre, and the Typewriter. Yes, technically the Typewriter is classified as an SMG, even though it has an 80-round magazine, but still. The 2 that beat the Typewriter are the Bobcat and the Silent Spectre. The Silent Spectre because it has a higher base crit chance, and the Bobcat because it has a bigger magazine size than the Silent Spectre. We'll see which one comes out on top, but I'm telling you right now, it's really, really close. And the Typewriter is a great gun, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely something up with its hit detection past 3.5 tiles. Something doesn't always add up, and the damage just gets negated, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. It's a great gun, just these 2 are better. Now this is the new build for the Bobcat. Crit rating, crit damage, and this thing tears through enemies. It's really strong. The thing about this is that it's only at a 3.5 range, so you have to get up close. The Silent Spectre, on the other hand, you will always roll crit damage, crit chance. Every time. It has one of the only, I think, 3 weapons in the game with a higher inherent crit chance at 20%, meaning you can get those crits more often and do more damage that way. Now this one, like I said, is super close to call, and I honestly don't think I could give you a real opinion. Back when I did my Bobcat review when it first came out, the Silent Spectre beat it out by like 0.10 seconds in time to kill. It was insanely close. And now playing with them both again, I kinda gotta give it to the Spectre once more. I mean, but it's close, guys. Either one of these weapons, if you have one, use them. Urban Assault Headhunter, Rio, even most Outlanders with phase shifts, this gun works perfectly on. Phase shift in, dump an entire clip, phase shift out. These guns are fantastic. Both of them are great, but the edge, and I mean minimal edge, it's got to go to the Spectre. Your number 1 SMG is the Silent Spectre. Next up, we have burst rifles, and burst rifles, to me, are my favorite types of guns in the game. What comes to mind is the Pulsar, the Razorblade, the Deathstalker, and out of these, there are some that overlap. I feel like an honorable mention has to go to the Pulsar. It is not number 1 by any means, but man, this gun is a lot of fun to use, sounds great, looks amazing, and it is accurate to everything. It is nuts how accurate this gun is. It is like shooting a laser beam, and that's kind of what you want in this game. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you have one and you're looking for something fun to level up, the Pulsar is a great gun. When you think burst, you should think a couple of guns. A couple things should come to mind: Razorblade, Deathstalker, Lynx, a couple of things here and there. But we're going to focus on 2 that, in my opinion, outclass both of those. First up is the Razorblade. The Razorblade is a fantastic weapon. Shoots fast, shoots accurately, has a decent range, and it can work with a multitude of different perks. The Deathstalker, on the other hand, is kind of different. It has a scope on it, one of the only ARs to have one, and it does damage. Insane amounts of damage. I cannot stress how hard this gun hits. I've been out damaged on Pathfinder Jesses using Deathstalkers while I'm playing Urban Assault Headhunter, and that doesn't speak to me as a player, kind of it does, but it speaks to how powerful the weapon is. If you have a Deathstalker, pick one up, level it, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Granted, it has a scope, but this is definitely one of those weapons that overlaps into a couple of our categories here on today's list. But this weapon, by all means, should not be underestimated. It is insanely strong, it hits insanely hard, and has one of, if not the highest range on any assault rifle. Your winner in the burst category, the Deathstalker. These are your far-ranged weapons, the weapons that are meant for killing mist monsters from a decent distance away. These are the weapons that have headshot multipliers that are anywhere from 75 to 125%, very high headshot damage, and a base range of 5,000 up all the way to 7,200 on some of these. Again, the Bundle Bust, the weapon that just came out, falls into this as well, but we're not going to touch on it. And I would also like to speak about more of these weapons, but they would just take way too long in one video. If you guys are interested in seeing stuff like that, just let me know down in the comments below. But out of all of these ranged weapons, which one's number 1? Well, that can only go to the Tiger, and here's why. If LMGs were made for Bulletstorm Jonesy, the Tiger was made for Urban Assault Headhunter, with a high headshot damage multiplier and literal lightning bolts that shoot out of this weapon. I mean, it is like taking a laser dot and putting it against the wall, and it will not move. This weapon shoots in perfectly straight lines, and that is why it is so strong. You're never gonna miss those headshots. You're never gonna accidentally hit a body shot or blow up a propane. It has a scope on it. Its damage is far superior to many other weapons in the game. With Urban Assault Headhunters and Rio's innate fire rate increase after a reload or a headshot, this gun works perfectly on them. Since it's so easy to get headshots, your damage ramps up and it becomes unsurmountable. As you can see in the footage, just taking out smashers left and right. Granted, this gun isn't the best for up close and personal combat, but it's not meant to be. I personally haven't leveled one up. The one I'm using in this footage is not mine, but this one has fire rate on it, and I really like it a lot better than one that is more damage. So maybe think about that when you get your hands on one of these. Unslot it, get it from a llama somehow, some way. I'm sure they'll come back around at some point if you haven't had your chance to get one. But if you do have one, level it up. If you like this kind of playstyle, sitting back, destroying enemies as they're walking to you, trying to get to your base, and you're just taking them out one by one. The best ranged assault rifle in the game currently definitely goes to the Tiger. Semi-automatic rifles, the last of the bunch, at least in this classification, and there's a reason for that. Recently, I was going to give this #1 spot to the Hunter Killer. On many other streamers and high-level players, it is considered the best gun in the game. However, very recently, we have come across a Dragon's Roar. This Dragon's Roar, the way it's rolled, the way it's built, is a monster. It's a monstrosity. This gun destroys everything, and I mean everything, it comes across, with fire rate that is unprecedented for semi-automatic rifles, and the fact that it has piercing bullets is not even the last of it. There's one more thing that makes this weapon so unique and so good, that it's one of the only, if not the only gun in the game that has innate affliction, meaning if that 6th perk is anything but affliction, count yourself lucky. However, we happen to think that they double stack anyway. It has a weird mechanic to it where no matter what that last perk is, it gives you an affliction damage bonus. And it's not some mediocre 300 to 800 damage dot that ticks for a couple seconds and you kill the enemy anyway. I'm talking these dots hit for 8,000 to 14,000 damage a tick for 3 seconds. It's incredible. The one you see in this video is slow to snared, but you can see that it still does an affliction damage, and we can't figure out why. Maybe the fact that it's a Dragon's Roar and it's innate fire, and it says something in the description about burning the enemies, something like that. Maybe that could be it. That most likely is it. But with the fact that it shoots basically the same as the Hunter Killer, you put fire rate on it, it shoots a little bit faster than the Hunter Killer at base. The fact that it pierces, which, if you remember my pistol video, is a huge incentive and bonus in this game where not many things do it. Off the top of my head, I can think of 3 other weapons in the game that might even pierce. Now, there is a caveat with this weapon, and somebody wanted me to point this out. It can only roll fire. So what does that mean? Well, exactly, when you're starting the game and you're in Candy Valley, the beginning of Twine, and you're having issues killing the bigger things, you want the opposite affliction. So if it's a nature enemy, you want to use fire, etc, etc. In this case, this is the weapon to level up for your quote-unquote fire weapon. There is nothing better. The only thing that comes close is a Gravedigger. But as you can see here, the numbers are basically similar. And this gun has the piercing and innate fire, so you can have 2 stacks of a utility perk on it. Slow and snare plus affliction plus piercing bullets just makes this gun untouchable, in my opinion, as the first slot. Things come close, like the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger does get very, very close, but it loses out on that piercing aspect, and that in this game where you build literal tunnels to funnel enemies, it's almost, you just can't beat it. You just really, really can't. I know a few of you are saying to yourself, where is the Nocturno? Well, the Nocturno is an all-around assault rifle, and there's everything in the game outclasses it in some way. It's got a small magazine size, the bullets don't hit that hard, it doesn't have affliction stats, it's just not very good. The Nocturno, the only thing going for it is it can run triple damage, and therefore your numbers can be higher than a normal Siegebreaker, which, as you'll notice, also didn't make the list. The Gravedigger and the Dragon's Roar. Personally, I say the Dragon's Roar, the piercing, the affliction, the double utility perks just makes it unbeatable in my book. So in closing, before this video gets a little too long, just know that if you have one of these weapons, level them up, you won't be disappointed. If you don't have one of these weapons, you can still do the entire game. Don't worry about it too much, and when they come around again, make sure you grab one. It's as simple as that. In my opinion, the Dragon's Roar is the best assault rifle, fire assault rifle in the game. Otherwise, go Gravedigger. If you're looking for long range, you go the Tiger, and if you're looking for something in between, pick another weapon that I put on this list. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. If you're new to Save the World, come check us out on Twitch almost every single day. At twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. I stream there, answer all questions, do giveaways, and all that jazz. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will get to every single one I can. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. TikTak out.